Hello, everyone, and welcome to our educational session. My name is Paul Arsov, and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project. The topic of our session today is getting things done. This is about the movement, getting things done, and the productivity of a person. So if you Google about knowledge worker or personal productivity, Google is going to find hundreds of thousands of articles and blog posts that promote, for example, 37 habits to enhance your productivity or similar hacks. If productivity, the measure of efficiency of a person, or for example, a robot completing a task is the lowest common denominator of the economy. Personal productivity is the lowest common denominator of the knowledge economy. Getting things done, this is a methodology created by the consultant David Allen. Is widely seen as a vanguard of the personal productivity movement. And in his piece, writers take down as a proxy to question the entire concept. They point that the focus on personal productivity allows organizations to delegate the responsibility and the pressure of productivity down to the individual under the guise of autonomy. The modern office worker is inundated with quantified quarterly goals and motivating mission statements, but receives almost no guidance on how to actually organize and manage these efforts. So if we are looking at managing by objectives, and you may add like its a recent win as objective and key results. In our view, the problem is that all these frameworks don't directly address the fundamental problem, the insidiously haphazard way that work unfolds at the organizational level. They only help individuals cope with its effect. Even more concerning, the knowledge sector insistence that productivity is a personal issue seems to create a so-called tragedy of the commons scenario, in which individuals making reasonable decisions for themselves ensure a negative group outcome overall. Writers who write on the topics related to knowledge workers are not the first to point out the misalignment between personal productivity and organizational productivity. In 2017 article for Harvard Business Review titled The Paradox of Productivity, a writer called Ryan Fuller posts, to really improve productivity and to be honest about what it means, you first have to gain a level of organizational self-awareness to understand that work actually drives value at your company, and then direct employees towards these tasks. This is a pretty straightforward for manual work, like for example on the assembly lines, but extremely complex when it comes to knowledge work. Others, like the organizational psychologist Adam Grant, have exposed the shortcomings of our understanding of personal productivity itself. pointing out that the underlying idea of time management is misleading and that we should instead become better at attention management. The art of focusing on getting things done for the right reasons, in the right places, and in the right moments. Newport has written the most incisive and enlightening critique of personal productivity to date, but his conclusions are too incremental. When he proposes more intentional assignments of effort and to work on one feature at a time, it smells like shoehorning knowledge work into the containers of micro industrial processes on digital steroids. Instead of the total freedom of personal productivity, he calls for better tools to, to optimize collective work, borrowing from the best practices of software developers and their morning stand-ups and task boards, touting qualities such as transparency and agility, the darling of digital economy. Trello boards, Slack and Guild to the rescue. That is a bit well unimaginative perhaps, and doesn't it entails the folks entrust the folks with protecting the chicken farm. Digital technology with its behavioral change apps and myriad collaboration suites has turned task-based personal productivity at the workplace into 24/7 self-optimization. Today's knowledge workers do not suffer from total freedom, they suffer from total lack of um, freedom. The tools of productivity have colonialized our more personal sphere, ourselves. A few years ago, a writing up called Don't Worry, Be Happy made the rounds on media. The app surveyed workers' facial expressions, and if that person stopped smiling while performing the computer work, it would delete everything they had produced in the previous hour. Don't Worry, Be Happy was not a subtle example of social conditioning tool that combined productivity with well-being, enabling emotion enforcement as the pinnacle of digital Taylorism. Now that app was available in the App Store, but it remains unclear whether it was meant as a satire or like a parody or for actual use. You know, something is creepy when you can't tell the difference. Residing in the same uncanny place that led to the HBO series Silicon Valley. It turns out that Don't Worry, Be Happy was a precursor of things to come. As Jacob Silverman, a writer who posts in The New Republic, the COVID-19 pandemic has fueled the rise of social productivity monitoring tools with Orwellian names like Time, Spyera, Time Doctor, and Hoop Stuff that, for example, track students' eye movements or ensure that employees aren't playing games during work hours. The workplace panopticon has come home, as Silverman notes. The most recent and more arguably most consequential example of this trend is the productivity score, a new feature that Microsoft recently introduced as part of its 365 workplace analytics suite, used by millions of people every day. The productivity score comprises a technology experience and a people experience score, both based on data collected from workers' use of Microsoft 365 Office Productivity Suite. The people experience score, for example, is built across 5 categories: content, collaboration, meetings, communication, teamwork, and mobility. It is essential a digital dashboard view designed to, quoting Microsoft, help everyone in your organization build the habits that harness the true power of those tools and harmonize productivity and well-being. It sounds like satire as well, too banal and too obvious to be taken seriously, but it is actually real. What may be even worse that firms like Microsoft maliciously betraying all the task of humanizing the workforce, um, is they actually believe their tools contribute to bringing it to life. When Microsoft proclaims that its productivity score illuminates the essential insight to move your transformation from art to science, it lays bare the myopic philosophy at the heart of all productivity tools. Ever since Frederick Taylor pioneered it, the idea of scientific management has proven to be detrimental to both productivity and workers' happiness. First of all, as management thinker and author, Margaret Heffernan points out, efficiency is good for the complicated but not for the complex, and it falls short of addressing a world that is increasingly being unpredictable. Trying to standardize and measure all work may instill the illusion of control, but it is too often demotivates people whose skills set can meet unpredictable demands. It also robs people of their capacity to adapt and respond with creativity and commitment. Digital technology has led to significant productivity gain, but at what costs? Productivity as the main metric of work performance is only produces high external costs, but also hampers mental health within a company, causing stress, anxiety, and burnout amongst workers. Um, among almost a third of Americans, for example, reported in like Ipsos study mental health problems due to workplace stress. The actual number is likely higher, as in a 2018 survey among Canadian employees, workplace stress was reported as the primary cause for mental health issues, with depression and anxiety ranking as the top two issues. The pandemic aggravated this trend. A recent MetLife survey indicates with 75% of American workers concerned about at least one aspect of their well-being as a result of the virus. And it is a vicious cycle. The global economy loses about US $1 trillion annually in productivity because of depression and anxiety, according to the World Bank. By simply digitalizing scientific management, we only worsen these effects. We narrow the playing field and flatten the human experience at the very moment when businesses should develop a vested interest in the exact opposite for the sake of spurring innovation, ensuring psychological safety, and creating healthier and happier workplaces. So, no, let's not move from art to science, please. Business is definitely not a science. It is an art that requires imagination and contemplation, not just pseudo-objective execution. As for the contemplation, the knowledge economy leaves little time and space for it. The focus is on knowing, less on acquiring or honing knowledge, less along questioning it. It also known as thinking. In the logic of personal productivity, to think means to be unproductive, even outright counterproductive. As some writers argued, in solitude, being alone with your thoughts is a key to elective and effective leadership. Unfortunately, to produce increasingly means to collaborate. There's nothing wrong with the idea of collaboration in and of itself. It is an evolutionary distinction that sets humans apart and has brought us, just to give us one recent example, breakthroughs in, for example, delivering and developing vaccines. The problem is that working together on so-called digital collaboration platforms is often merely symbolic. In my personal opinion, like using apps like Slack or Guild is digital socializing, and it's questionable if it produces actually results and knowledge, instead of just talking with co-workers and substituting this for a work done. And these kind of tools often redirect our time to managing our workplace brand and persona, giving us merely the illusion of shared creativity and productivity. To state it more sharply and bluntly, the onus has shifted from personal productivity to personal branding, and digital collaboration frequently means the pretense of collaboration. We collaborate for the sake of collaboration, but it is never a work product that is being collectively negotiated and shaped. It is our identity and relationships in this process. This is the new paradox. The more objectively we believe technology can measure and quantify and um, the quality of our work, the more important, the fuzzier and more subjective aspects of our work become, which explains why Microsoft and others are so keen on objectifying them through quantitative measures. It is actually a hopeless quest. Social productivity tools fail us twice. They impede our productivity and at the same time increase our stress levels because we no longer have to just do the work. We now also need to talk about it well in ways that are visible and ideally measurable for outside tools. Ultimately, these tools make us both less productive and less social. It makes us essentially transactional. Personal productivity is that, even though digital surveillance tools have brought it back into our homes through the back door as a zombie. But perhaps the concept of productivity itself is deeply flawed too, and it is time to throw the baby out together with the bath water. There are several alternative paradigms that we can explore, from regenerativity, the degree of external costs produced by one's work, and the amount of circular resources one creates for others and oneself, rather than mere task-related output, to the idea of a naturalized workplace that views work as an emergent and fluid organic feature rather than something that can and must be predicted and managed in measurable units. Perhaps we need a different language altogether: love and beauty instead of productivity and efficiency. Work is love made visible. As the poet Khalil Gibran wrote, not love made measurable. Work is beautiful when it brings us close together instead of just forcing us to collaborate. It is beautiful when it matches the true demands of the world with our personal potential. Um, in this sense, beauty is not just an aesthetic, but an ethical quality. We must produce more of it. And with this said, I'm ending this presentation, and I'm coming back to the beginning of this presentation when I told you that my name is Paul Arsov and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project, and I like to tell you about this project and several other projects that we are working on and we did release. The Decentralized Web project builds decentralized communication and advertising platform, and the meaning of decentralization we put in this project is different than the meaning blockchain technology puts into the decentralization. We view blockchain technology as fundamentally flawed to be used as the driver of decentralization. In our implementation of decentralization, we allow direct communication from user to user without going through a third party, namely a server, or central point which collects information and then it distributes this information to users. In our view of decentralization, it is always about direct user-to-user communication. Um, with this said, I like to mention that we have our own blockchain instance and it rewards users for joining our decentralized network communication network platform, and it also rewards users with tokens for existing users, inviting people to become new users on our platform, and it also rewards users for viewing advertisement on our decentralized network platform. Our way of advertising is very permissive. The user has to click to advance from one ad to another, and in the process they view these ads, and they also are being rewarded with tokens for viewing this advertisement. With this said, I like to tell you the name and the URL of this project. It is decentralizedweb.org. Decentralized and web. These are two words and they're typed all together. Decentralized web. Then there is dot and it ends with org. Once again, decentralizedweb.org. With this said, I am going to the second project that we are working on and we did release. And this project is about like a marketplace and collection of non-fungible tokens or NFTs based on three-dimensional objects. With three-dimensional objects, what is special about them is that they have to use special software to load and view the three-dimensional object. In general, the 3D object creators, they are using special software like game engines, and they're two very popular choices for used by 3D object creators. One of these game engines is called Unity, and the other one of these game engines is called Unreal. But from the very beginning, in our decentralized web project, we decided to build our own 3D software engine. And what it does, it reads the file of the 3D object, then it opens a window on a computer screen, then it displays the 3D object in this window, and then it starts animating this 3D object in a way of moving it in a random fashion around the window it did open. But in addition to this initial and basic capability, our 3D software engine has multiple additional capabilities. The first additional capability of our 3D software engine is the capability of speaking. Our 3D NFTs can speak in one of three different voices. The 3D NFTs can speak either in a male voice or in a female voice or in a whisper kind of a voice. In addition to the three basic voices, there are three different flavors of voices. A voice can be spoken either in a normal speed fashion or in a fast speed fashion or in a slow speed fashion. If we take a male voice and it is spoken in a slow speed fashion, then this voice can come as the voice of a very masculine person or the voice of a funny or the voice of an old person. Um, if we take a female voice and it is spoken in a fast-speed fashion, then this voice can come as the voice of a funny person or the voice of a little girl. The next additional and important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of voice recognition. Um, you can, when you have a 3D NFT as being animated and moving in a random fashion, then you can issue your very first voice command to the 3D NFT to stop moving. And then the 3D NFT is going to stand still and stop moving. Then you can issue your following voice commands to the 3D NFT to move left, move right, move up, move down, zoom in, zoom out, rotate. And then the 3D NFT is going to fulfill each one of these separate voice commands and move left, then move right, move up, then move down, come closer, zoom in, go farther away, zoom out, and start rotating. The next additional important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of them having a basic artificial intelligence. Wow, really wow. You can ask the 3D NFT what is your name, and then the 3D NFT is going to reply in a voice with their name. You can ask the 3D NFT who are you, and then the 3D NFT is going to reply in few sentences about who they are. You can ask the 3D NFT to describe something, and then the 3D NFT is going to describe it in few sentences, like for example, describe Web3 or decentralization or the country called Russia. The last additional but not least important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of them being displayed in a way of stereoscopics. What stereoscopics means is that part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in red or reddish colors, and another part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in blue or cyan colors. Then you can come to our 3D NFT marketplace website, and probably now is the time to tell you the name and the URL of this website. It is 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. 3dnft is typed in a way of the number 3 followed by the letter D followed by 3 other letters NFT, and it is typed together 3D NFT. Then there is dot, then there are 2 words typed all together, decentralized and web. Then there is dot and it ends with org. Once again, 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. On the top of the main page and every other page, you can see number of links, and one of these links point to accessories. And when you click on this link, you're going to see that we're offering special glasses. When you click and order one pair of these glasses, you're going to see that one lens of these glasses is red and the other lens of these glasses is blue cyan. Then you can put these glasses on. You can request displaying the 3D NFT in a way of stereoscopics, and then you are going to see the 3D NFT is coming out of the flat two-dimensional computer screen, and you're going to see it in real 3 dimensions. With this said, I like to end talking about our 3D NFTs collection and our 3D NFTs software engine, but I like to mention about our 3D NFT marketplace. In our 3D NFT marketplace, we have our own blockchain instance, and in this blockchain instance runs Ethereum software, Ethereum virtual machine software. This is the same software which runs on Ethereum mainnet. It runs on Binance Smart Chain. It runs on Polygon Matic Chain. It runs on Avalanche Avax Chain, and it runs on many other famous or not so famous blockchains in existence. With this said, I like to tell you that unlike usual NFT marketplaces, we allow our users to pay not just with one crypto coin for purchase and receive proceedings from sale of NFTs, not just with single crypto coins, but with multiple crypto coins. Currently, the choices include Solana Sol, Polygon Matic, Avalanche Avax, and KuCoin, which is a big centralized crypto exchange. It has a coin called KCS. With this said, I like to tell you that we have a second parallel and independent way of buying and selling of 3D NFTs, and it is done entirely in fiat currency. So let's say you're a user, you come to our 3D NFT marketplace, you click on the collection of NFTs, you browse through through all of the NFTs, and you see a 3D NFT that you like to purchase. When you click on it, then you are going to see a short video of this 3D NFT as it is moving, and then you're going to see drop-down menu which asks you to choose between 4 different crypto coins and a fifth choice of paying with fiat currency. So let's say you select paying with fiat currency and click on the button to advance next. Then you're going to be presented with a screen where you have to put your the number of your debit or credit card, expiration date, CVC, and then when you complete when you push the button to complete this purchase, what is going to happen is there is going to be a transaction and conversion from your national fiat currency to US dollars, and this payment is going to be deposited in our bank account in US dollars. Then we're going to follow this with transfer of the initial ownership from our 3D NFT marketplace to you, and now you become the owner of this 3D NFT. Then you can play a little with this 3D NFT for a while, and you can decide to put this 3D NFT at some point for sale. You decide on price that you want to put for sale, and then let's say there's a second user who comes to our 3D NFT marketplace. They browse through the collection of the 3D NFTs, and then they see and like in particular the 3D NFT that you put for sale. So what is going to happen is that they're going to go through the same motions of the same motions of choosing between 4 different crypto coins, and the fifth choice of paying with fiat currency. So let's say they select payment with fiat currency. Then they put the number of their debit or credit card, expiration date, CVC, and click on the button to make the payment. What is going to happen is there's going to be a transaction and conversion from their national fiat currency, which could be different than your national fiat currency. And this payment is going to be converted to US dollars and deposited in our bank account. Then we're going to make a transaction and transfer of ownership from you to the second user, and now the second user becomes owner of this 3D NFT. Then we're going to make a transaction and transfer and conversion from US dollars to your national fiat currency, and the payment for the sale of the 3D NFT is going to be deposited in your bank account in your national fiat currency. With this said, I'm ending talking about this project, and I like to mention the next project that we are working on. This project is building charging products for electric vehicles, and we estimate that the number of electric vehicles is going to grow exponentially, and at some point it is the way these electric vehicles are being charged currently is going to become insufficient to charge this exponential growth of electric vehicles. Currently, the vehicles are being charged in a way similar to internal combustion engines coming to gas stations are being loaded with fuels. Owners of electric vehicles who do not have houses and their own garage, they go to usually charging stations which have a number of columns, and these charging columns have electric cable, and the owner of electric vehicle comes, they identify themselves with the charger, they collect the electric cable to their electric vehicle, they request charging of their electric vehicle, they stay for a while, and this is a longer time than the time a person with an internal combustion engine spends at a gas station. And then finally, after a period of time, the owner of electric vehicle disconnects the electric cable. They pay for the energy loaded in their electric vehicle, and then they leave. But we estimate that the number of these charging stations is going to become ultimately insufficient to charge the exponential growth of electric vehicles. So what we're proposing is instead of current gas station model, gas station equivalent model, we're proposing the parking lot model, and many of the owners of electric vehicles, they live in high-rise residential buildings, and these high-rise residential buildings have a ground floor parking lot or multiple underground floors of parking lot. We propose mounting the type of products that we're building, which a single product can service multiple vehicles, like up to 4 different vehicles. And our product is outfitted with current measuring device which could calculate the exact amount of energy loaded in the vehicle. It is outfitted with Wi-Fi connectivity. It is outfitted with a near-field communication reader where you can identify yourself to the charger by your debit card, credit card, or near-field communication card, or near-field communication keychain token, or near-field communication ring, which you can wear on your finger. And of course, our charging products are outfitted with a high voltage and high current electric switch. With this set, I like to tell you that owners of electric vehicles, when they come in the evening from work, they could connect the electric cable of a charging product like the one we're building, and then they can request loading energy, and then they can leave their vehicle to charge during the evening, during the night, and early morning while they're at home. But owners of electric vehicles, they could also work in high-rise office buildings, and these high-rise office buildings could be outfitted with the type of charging products that we're building, and the owner of this electric vehicle could, when they come in the morning for work, they could connect electric cable to their vehicle. They can request charging of their vehicle, and the vehicle could be charging during the morning, afternoon, and early evening while the owner of this electric vehicle is at work. With this set, I like to tell you the name and the URL of the website of this project. It is power.arstec.com. Power is the ordinary word for power, then there is dot, then there is a word which I can spell it letter by letter. It is Alpha Romeo Sierra Tom Echo Charlie Hotel. Altogether Arstec, then there is dot, and it ends with com. Once again, power.arstec.com. On the main page, you can see that we put 3 different surveys, and these surveys could tell us about your needs. And one of these surveys is about hardware, the other one is about software, and third one is about features of power charging products that you can write about your needs, and you can tell us so that we can customize existing products to fit your needs, or we can build a new product which could fulfill these requirements. With this said, I'm going to the next project that we're working on. This project is about artificial intelligence agents, and we call this project AI to AI. In this project, there are two artificial intelligence entities, agents, and these AI entities are based on different AI large language models. They're based on their own gender, their own avatar, their own voice with which they could be speaking, and their own initial prompt with which they could interact with each other. Like, for example, I can bring an example. The first AI entity, the user could request a prompt for the first AI entity to be to have female gender, female voice, female avatar, and you can put its prompt to be very seductive. And you can have the second AI entity to have a male gender, male avatar, male voice, and you can put the initial prompt for this AI entity, for example, to be very angry. And then you can type this prompt and request start this interaction, and the user is going to be observing the interaction between one female AI entity, which is very seductive, and the second male AI entity, which is very angry. And you can observe this back and forth interaction between these two AI entities and enjoy this interaction. You can then, when at some point you can stop this interaction, you can have transcript of this interaction saved for your viewing, and then you can also share the parameters of this interaction on our website so that other users could see the specific prompt that you put for this interaction, and they can put these parameters and see similar but not exactly the same interaction, because large language models have a requirement to avoid repetition, and they could be showing you something new, something unexpected, and even something even more entertaining. With this said, I like to tell you the name and the URL of the website of this project. It is ai2ai.decentralizedweb.org. AI to AI is typed in a way of the letter A followed by the letter I, followed by the number 2, followed by two other letters A and I. And it is typed all together AI to AI. Then there is dot, then there are two words, decentralized and web, and they're typed all together, decentralized web. Then there is dot, and it ends with org. Once again, AI to AI dot decentralizedweb.org. With this said, I'm ending talking about this project, and I like to mention the last project, which is in development, and it doesn't have its own website, but it is aiming to produce the type of technology which like a company like OpenAI calls a browser called Atlas. Of course, we're not going to post the whole browser, but we are going to take the capabilities which allow user to record a sequence of steps they took, like in a web browser, or sequence of steps they took outside of a browser in an ordinary program in their laptop device or their mobile device. And then they can label this sequence of steps, like for example, they make multiple steps to purchase specific food item from a specific food store, or they make several steps to go to the website of like a venue, and then request a ticket for a specific performance, a specific show. um, or they could request, for example, um, planning a trip and getting airplane ticket from a specific airline and for a specific day and time. All these steps, each one could be labeled with their own label. So the user, when you say, for example, buy an airplane ticket and specify, for example, the range of dates, specify, for example, the airline or travel website which is providing airplane tickets. Then the user could uh, like um, uh, follow as the AI program goes step by step, and at some point at the last steps for confirmation, just click to confirm the payment for the purchase of a ticket for travel at a specific day and time with a specific airline. With this said, I'm ending this presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening, and goodbye.